Welcome to Loving Me Before I Love You with Tammy Nicole, the podcast dedicated to you loving and putting yourself first. Others have come first in your life for years, and you know it's time for that to change. You're about to be empowered to set healthy boundaries, confidently have hard conversations, unapologetically put yourself first, and live the peaceful life you deserve. Remember, self-love is essential, and loving yourself sets the stage for every other love in your life. So get ready to embrace self-love like never before with your host, Coach Tammy Nicole.
Hey. Welcome. It is Transformation Tuesday over at Loving Me Before I Love You. I am so excited. So y'all know, being a therapist, that the month of May is my favorite month. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. I love being able to provide education and other avenues that you can tap into through media, like social media and internet, and just connection with other people. And we're going to talk about functional depression today. A lot of times we are moving around this world depressed and not doing nothing about it. We are simply just living and existing in it. And we want to talk about, what does that really look like? We want to talk about, what solutions do you find? And I actually have a guest with me. And saying the word solution made me want to say her name. Her name is Miss Virginia Dale Manning, and she is an LPC. She works with individuals and helps our mental health field. And we are going to sit here and talk to her as she is going to give us some solutions, because she does practical solutions with no prescriptions. Welcome to the show, Dr. I called you Dr. Virginia. I did. Y'all, she is LPC, and we talked about her going to get her doctorate. I may just be speaking some things into existence that she don't want, but we going to keep it going. She's not a doctor. I want to be clear. However, I'm going to speak it to existence over her life real fast, real quick. Welcome to the show, Virginia.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Yes, we're going to manifest that doctorism.
All day. I love it. So when you hear functional depression, I want you to give me what I call the book definition, and then I want you to give me the real definition.
Well, I mean, they kind of, merge the book definition and the clinical definition and the, layman terms definition. But it's actually just what it says, functional. Like, so you able to do the things that you need to do. You go to work, you do your household chores, you have goals, you work on your goals, you function, and you doing, what normal people would think normal people should do. But then, you have that other side where when the doors are closed, it hits. So, you're functioning on the outside, but on the inside, it's, we need some help. We need some pampering, some TLC, some love, and we need to just get it together so we can be whole. That wholeness, yes. Mind, body, soul, everything intact.
Absolutely. I think for me, when I hear functional depression and when I think about like the hidden struggle, right? I really hear and see the overt everything's okay person. Mm-hmm. I hear and see somebody asking you, are you okay? And the first thing out your mouth is, oh yeah, girl, I'm fine. I just left the gym. But all while not talking about the constant racing thoughts of negativity that is like plaguing them even in the moment that they're speaking. Mm-hmm. I think about the person who's overwhelmed and no coping skills. Mm-hmm. I really see the extra, and people always say, well, how can you tell the difference? How can you identify as an individual that is functioning depressed? Because a lot of us the first thing we don't do is admit the truth, right? We don't admit that we're sad. We don't admit that we technically are isolating socially. We may be out functioning like you said, general things that we need to do. We're going to work. We're making sure the kids get to school and picked up. We're making sure they meet all their appointments. But when the dust settles, we ain't answering our phones.
Right.
We ain't responding to text messages.
Isolate.
We're declining all the invitations to all the parties.
Avoiding people. Yeah. So, and it is like the normal symptoms is like, once again, they have their life in order, right? They're successful. They're doing all the things they're supposed to be doing. But then when it comes to the other side, the socialization or enjoying life part, they isolate and retreat. So, sometimes they have issues, even if you like at work or whatever, or in other settings where they are functioning. Some of the things you can look at as clues is sometimes they not focused. Like they could be like in space. Like you're like, what you thinking about, girl? Oh, nothing. I'm just, let me get back to work or whatever. Or they, they have problems with concentrating or something like this. So those are some of the signs when people are functioning because they high performing at school, they high performing, high achievers. At the same time, on the flip side, in the dark, skeletons in the closet, they're not doing so well.
Yeah. What do you say to the person who may be asking that question? Am I a functional, depressed individual? What are questions, and be it a checklist or questions that they can ask themselves that would help them identify, should I really be seeking a therapist? Now, just disclaimer, I personally believe everybody needs a therapist.
For real.
Having a problem or not having one.
Absolutely.
But for those that may just be like, well, how do I know if I really should go find one because of this issue? What are some signs or checklist items that they might need to be monitoring to make that type of a decision?
Well, first of all of us at some level suffering depression, anxiety. It could be, my paycheck wasn't what I wanted it to be, so I'm sad because now I can't go shop for the weekend or go out or whatever. Or, hey, I didn't pass a test, or I'm about to take a test, so I'm anxious. I don't know, if I'm going to study or how it's going to be, or, relationships. Ooh, I don't want to be around this person because, I get anxious. I don't like this person. So it's different degrees or levels is what I call them. Like, so you have, when you first have something happen to you, right? Like mild depression, we don't call it mild because, I'm sad because I didn't pass a test today. I'm consider that mild. But when you don't reflect on it, that's that part of that checklist. Reflect, right? And just say, hey, how am I feeling today? Why am I feeling this way? What can I do not to feel this way again? Do I need to study more? Do I need to, whatever it is, like problem solving. But some people don't do that. They just like keep going. That's that function. Let me keep functioning. Let me keep functioning. Let me not stop and dwell on what issue I have. Because people think when they have issues that is something wrong with them. But like I say, everyone has problems. But it's not that you have something wrong with you, but when you have goals and you have things that you're trying to do in life, and you high functioning, high performing, you will be doing a lot. And I tell people a lot of times that's a sign that you're on the right track when you have a lot of stuff going on, right? But you do have to stop and reflect. Like, ask yourself, so if you at the beginning and you kind of like don't know what to do, reflect every day, right? How did my day go? What did I do well? What didn't go well? And then the things that you did well that brought you the most joy, do more of them. And the things that didn't go well, that's why you have to reflect. And you're like, oh, I don't think I need to do this anymore because that didn't work. So just checking yourself. I tell my clients all the time, the number one rule is know thyself. Don't be scared of you. Nobody even have to know you're doing this, really, to tell you the truth. Nobody doesn't know.
Yeah.
So people think that people can see that they're doing these things like, oh, they're going to know, something wrong with me or whatever. Actually, that's why we don't know, because you're functioning well. But you know.
I 100% agree. I also, when I have clients, the number one rule to be my client is to journal. Journaling is a must. If you don't want to journal, we can't work. And people may say, well, that is a big ask. What if they're not a writer? Well, for me, you have to have something tangible to go through any kind of process, right? Like you have to physically have something. If you're just walking through life with nothing physical that will jar you or take you back or, like you mentioned, reflect, it's very difficult to really understand, what have I done? What have I gone through? What have I accomplished? I was watching, might have been TikTok, because I'm a TikTok fanatic, but it may have been TikTok, and they were talking about the big calendar. And the gentleman was saying, you've achieved a lot of things in life, or you've done a lot of things in life when you are intentional about doing certain stuff. Like you need to have at least one major thing that you plan to accomplish in a year, at least 6 things that you want to do outside of yourself, that's like outside of your routine. And and it was literally like breaking it down to being able to pinpoint something. You should be able to say what happened in 2018 based upon the fact that you created something major that year. So journaling is another technique that allows you to have something to reflect on, something to go back to. It allows you to kind of like track the progress. And when you don't journal, it's like, what are we doing? We're just living, we're existing, we're just kind of like moseying through life and all of its changes. I do know that there's a lot, I want the listeners to understand the differences. Like, we all can get sad and depressed. There is a huge difference between what I call everyday life depression and clinical depression. And when you are clinically depressed, it is an absolute must that you have some kind of medical care, right? That's seeing a therapist, a psychiatrist, because you may need medication to assist in the process of you understanding and learning who you are and how you are made up, in reference to why you still have what I call depressive episodes. But general life depression, it's nothing wrong. There's no stigma against being depressed or dealing with depression. Like, we all have moments. Life is about how you respond to it, not what you have happen during
Absolutely. And then the caveat with journaling is that, like what I like to teach people, because people don't like to journal because they like take it serious. I mean, it's serious, but they take it too serious. Like, it has to be correct grammar. It has to be, the punctuation has to be well. I'm like, there's different types of journaling, and sometimes like based off the client, like what is your specific purpose for journaling? It could be just to clear your head of the clutter. And I tell them, if you're clearing your head, and if blah, blah, blah is in your head, blah, blah, blah should be on the paper. Because we're trying to clear your head enough so that you can think and process things and reflect better. Because when you have a lot of clutter in your head, it's hard to reflect and manage those symptoms in a productive way.
Absolutely. But the reality is, the journal is for you. It's not for nobody else. So I don't care if you don't know how to spell, if you don't know what punctuations are. It's for you. I don't care if the journal is guided or not. You have to get something out of it. It's not for anyone else to read. Even when I'm working with clients and they having to do the journal, I don't go, show me your journal. I say, read from it. Tell me. A lot of times when you write something down, you don't even hear what you wrote until you speak it. You know what I mean? It's like you just go right in and you go back to read it. You read it differently than you speak about it. So I make them speak it out loud, because I feel like when you speak something out loud, you hear what actually transpired. And then you can make decisions based upon what you just heard. And it's not what you heard from somebody else, it's what you heard from yourself. And so, because you are the center of the situation, we do a lot of self-love on this platform. We teach people how to love themselves wholly. And you have to even love yourself with the depression. You have to
All
even
right.
love yourself, as you're going through it. But functional depression, here's the question. Is it healthy or unhealthy to have functional depression?
Well, it depends on your management skills. Like, if you're a functional depressive person, like, but are you managing those symptoms as they come and not letting them snowball to where eventually you really in a state of chaos and you feel like you can't manage it because you let it snowball so much. So that's the key. Like, handle them. What they say, what it takes to eat an elephant, right?
One
Bite
bite at
by
a
bite.
time.
Yeah, and then but once you get it to the bite size, then don't let it get back to the size of an elephant again. But people have that cycle that they let it get back to the bite size of an elephant. They're like, oh Lord, what I'm gonna do is I can't do anything. But no, like, just that's that reflecting and that journaling. Like, every day, handle the situation, manage it, do what you need to do, clear your head, and put some real healthy strategies in place.
Healthy strategies. What are they? What does that look like to the average person who don't have them? Because most functioning depressed individuals don't have what I call healthy coping skills. They
Mm-hmm.
are literally just moving by the seat of their pants based upon their responsibilities. So when
Mm-hmm.
all the responsibilities are over, when the responsibilities have stopped, that's when their depression takes over. So
Mm-hmm.
what healthy coping skills can they implement that will give them a sense of safety, a sense of I can make it, give them that piece of hope, give them that, you know, the fire to decide to do something different.
Well, like you said earlier, journaling is a perfect healthy coping strategy. But also, because, people, you hear say coping strategies and they think, it's real clinical. Like, oh, coping strategies, like, what I have to do? That sounds something really, above my head. But
Mhm.
I tell my clients it's really hobbies and things that you enjoy is a coping strategy. You like reading, join a book club and socialize with other women who have things in common with you. You like to ski, go skiing. You like basketball, go to basketball game. Do the
Yeah,
things that you enjoy. And that's the healthiest way to cope. Also, people like, oh, well, I don't know what my hobbies are. I haven't did anything since high school. Well, what did you do in high school? You played basketball, you played volleyball. You still can, and or explore new avenues. What's some things you never did before that you don't mind doing, just to be adventurous and do different things? If you like it, keep doing it. If you don't, hey, at least you can say you did it. Mostly
absolutely.
enjoy life.
Get to know yourself. Take yourself out on dates. Um, Start rediscovering who you are. I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times when we are in depressive states, we lose who we are. I literally a few months ago did a TikTok, and I was talking to the people. I was talking to them a little crazy, but they got the point. I was I was basically saying every word has a definition, but when someone asks you, "Who are you?" you say stuff like, "I don't know," or "I'm a mom," "I'm a teacher," you start giving out these descriptives. You have to define yourself. Nobody knows who you are but you.
Mm-hmm.
And what other people know about you is because you showed it to them. It's because you shared it with them, because you expressed it or exposed it.
Mm-hmm.
But you are the holder of the pen. And as long as the pen can still write, your story is not over. You can
Right.
change the chapter. You can create a new chapter. You can pivot in the middle of the chapter and say, I'm going a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
You hold the pen. You are the author of your own life. And
Absolutely.
so when you're in sad spaces, isolated spaces, is that the space you desire to be in? Is that what the story reads? Is that how the story reads? Is that the script you're writing? Because ultimately, it's on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Accountability for sure. Mm-hmm.
you definitely need a support system.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the first step from my perspective is honesty, right? Honesty with you,
Absolutely.
acknowledge and admit, where you are, and then get you some accountability partners.
Positive accountability partners, because
Healthy.
yeah, healthy, because we can have accountability partners and they keep shooting you down, just making you feel worse, and you think they're the best friend in the world.
Oh no, there's a lot of people that are not friends. They just there to see
that
They're
fall.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they sitting on the sideline counting down.
Especially if you functioning well, they like, okay, I know something wrong with you. Let me figure out what it is, and then just ring it until you're unfunctional.
You know what? That just made me have a thought that a part of the functional depressed person is that everything is right, that everything is perfect, that everything is okay, right? So when you say that someone's sitting on the sideline just waiting on them to fail because everything ain't always good, like
Absolutely.
it's something because nobody's perfect, right? So if you don't ever have nothing wrong,
it's something is wrong.
That part. If nothing is ever wrong, something is wrong. All of it.
And like they say, the saying is now, it's okay not to be okay.
100%. 100%. And that's just honestly because we think that not being okay is a problem.
Perfectionism, yeah.
Hey, hope you're feeling the love in today's episode. We'll pick back up where we left off in a moment. First, we're excited to share that Tammy has a collection of self-love t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and journals for you to express how much you love yourself to the world. From comfy hoodies to motivational mugs, there's something for everyone. While you're listening to today's show, feel free to browse the full collection at IamTammyNicole.com. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get back into today's show.
But I mean, it's just like there's no way everything can always work out.
Absolutely.
Like people make mistakes every day. So even if it's not working out because somebody else did it and it's just directly affecting you, it still didn't work out. Like it's still something. You know what I mean?
And how do you learn if you don't make mistakes and things go wrong? How do you pivot?
That part. That part. But mental health is super important. It's something that I think we've been talking about it a little bit more in the past few years than ever before, which is super important. And I'm glad for it because I think a lot of times we are so built around stigma and not wanting labels. I think way back in the day, before I even became a therapist, it was like, oh, you going to the shrink? Oh, you're crazy. La 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 la. And nobody wanted to talk about it. But everybody was dealing with all of these undiagnosed diagnoses. they were dealing with it. And the people that look like me, I always say, were the main ones that needed all the services because we were so taught to be strong, so taught to, not waver, hold under pressure, cry in the closet, don't cry in front of everybody else. Just simply because we were always seen to be like the weaker vessel, so you had to be the strong Black woman. If you're not a strong Black woman, oh my, whoa.
You feel it, yeah. Another thing I find too is that like that education piece, especially with us African Americans who work a lot. You couldn't imagine how many people I've seen who, first of all, they've accumulated an abundance of sick leave days, I'm like, what? Why you don't take a day off? And you just about to snap right now, and you don't want to take a day off work. And they don't know about their benefits. They don't know about EAP. They don't know that they have the right for FMLA. They don't know that their insurance covers certain things, not even medical stuff. They don't even know about insurance covering medical things. Like you get a free yearly exam. So use your benefits. You work. They will work themselves in the ground. That's that too over functioning.
I think when you talk about taking a mental health day, I always encourage it. I think if you don't have an off day in the month, take one.
Mm-hmm.
You got PTO or vacation time or sick time, however your job created it, you should definitely take one. If there's not a holiday in that month, you make a holiday. And you say, I need to be off on this particular day. I'm very big on me time. Me time is super important. You have to give space for you. You have to give space for recharging. You know, we can always come up with an excuse on why it's not enough time in the day and why I can't because I have to do X, Y, and Z for my kids or X, Y, and Z for my parents or X, Y, and Z for a spouse. But everybody gets 24 hours within a day. It's what are you doing with it that makes the difference.
Instead of, hiding and, not facing reality and doing things that you need to do to function, to move forward, and just staying stuck. Being stuck is not productive. You have to that's a waste of time, really. Like being stuck, you know how long you sit there being stuck? Sometimes a whole day or half a day. Weekends when you're off, stuck. That's a waste of good time.
Yeah. A lot of people are stuck mentally, though, from a standpoint of they're still doing everyday life, but because they are so mentally stuck, they are just doing the revolving door of whatever this routine is, I'm just doing it. And you're just staying in that one little circle when you should be progressing to the next block or the next phase. But because you can't see yourself differently. I think a lot of times we don't see ourselves for who we are, nor do we see ourselves for where we want to be. And it's the big thing of society right now is manifestation. Manifest the life you want. Manifest the life you want. People can't do it because they can't simply believe that they're worth the things that they see that they technically desire. They're like, yeah, that's good enough for you, not for me. Or, oh, you look pretty today. But in their mind, they're saying, I don't see where she see that at, but okay. I'm gonna say thank you from a polite standpoint, but internally, I'm rejecting the compliment and replacing it with a negative, limited thought about myself, which keep me stuck, not believing I'm beautiful, not believing I'm worthy, not believing I have enough or that I am enough to move forward. You have to believe. If you don't do nothing else,
you better believe. Yeah, but that's true because, like you said, somebody will tell you you're beautiful or whatever, then you counteract it with a negative. Yeah. And so now what's the last thing in the environment? The negative thing.
Yeah.
And then that's what you with.
Exactly. And I think that's the key is that's why I like journaling, because when that happens, you should be able to write that down and then give yourself a counteractive thought that's on the positive so that when you start to think or feel, you can shut it down, physically shut it down on the inside. You're beautiful. You saying thank you out loud, but internally saying, I don't know where you see that from. The minute you say, I don't, you should be like, you know what? You're right. I am beautiful. Thank you. For real.
Absolutely.
No,
hype
you're
yourself
right.
up. Yeah, be your best
Be your own hype man.
And that's necessary. It is. And people think something wrong with that. Like, why do I have to do it? Or they believe what other people say before they believe what their own self say.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, I think about back when I was a little girl, my mom and I used to be picked on because I was dark skinned and everybody, that's when light skin was like the main thing you supposed to be. Dark skin was like bad. And they was like, oh, you dark, you this. And I would tell my mom it would hurt my feelings. And my mom would say, why are you taking on other people's thoughts? Those are their thoughts. What are yours? Like you have to own it for you. You can't take their stuff and add it to your repertoire of ideas about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about yourself? And then when I started saying what I think, she said, then what they saying don't matter.
No
so
matter.
Now you need to come up with a response for them. And when they start saying negative stuff to you, you immediately respond, oh, wow, that's so sad that you think that about yourself. And keep it moving. Like, I'm so sad. I'm sorry that you feel that way about yourself.
Right.
And doing that never allowed me to own it. It never said that this is what I am. No, that's what they are because they're projecting their own thoughts and feelings. Because my mom would say it's something about you that they envy. It's something about you, that they probably wish they had your dark skin. They probably wish they didn't have, they got pimples and you don't. They got bad, like it's a lot of things that people, when people talk negative, it is a reflection of themselves. All the time, no matter what it is. If you can talk bad about your family, like legit, not just an issue that you actually had with them, but like you really just talking bad about your culture, your family as a whole, you don't like yourself.
Uh-huh.
And it's something about it allows you to have that type of conversation.
Because what is on the inside gonna come out on the outside. So if you're feeling all kind of icky and negative on the inside, it's gonna come out on the outside.
Yeah. My mom said, "What's down in the well come out the bucket." So,
and they want to give it to you because they don't want to, feel it by themselves, or they don't want to be the only ones.
Yeah, absolutely. When do you suggest, or how do you suggest a person go about seeking additional help if they are functioning in depression?
Well, anytime you need someone to talk to that you feel, therapy is a safe space. Like you could talk about whatever. And I tell people that all the time. And you don't have to worry about me following you home and saying, oh, I thought you said this and I thought you said that. So you talk and you're vulnerable. You're able to cry. You're able to laugh. You're able to be happy. And you just to have somebody to talk to. So it's never a bad time to go to therapy. You don't have to be like what they say, quote unquote, crazy. You don't have to be in a severe situation. You don't have to be on the ledge. It could be just because, hey, I just want to talk to someone today.
Absolutely.
And it's no reason.
Absolutely. What process do you encourage people to follow when seeking a therapist?
Well, if you have a job, you might have insurance. You can go through your insurance. And or most companies today have EAPs where whether you have insurance or not, you get a certain number of free sessions. And or some people, they have cash. You can pay for cash. They have sliding scales, most clinics. So, there's no barrier. There's no excuse, really. And even people who don't have jobs. If you have a family member who has a job, who have EAPs, you can use their EAPs. Family members can use other family members' EAPs.
Awesome.
Employee assistance program, because I know somebody saying, what is an EAP?
Absolutely. The other thing is, don't feel that the first person that you encounter as a therapist is your therapist.
Yeah.
Therapy is a very delicate exchange. You need to find your perfect fit. And that perfect fit may take a little time to find, but it's worth the time.
And you can request certain characteristics if you use an insurance or EAP. You can request you want a male, a female, black, white, orange, green, yellow, whatever. You can request to certain regions. Some people like to stay in the neighborhood. Some people I don't want one in my neighborhood. and they'll
Yeah.
go elsewhere. You can give them the zip code. So it's various ways to get your needs met.
Yes. And interaction too is a piece, right? So you have therapists that are buttoned up. What do I mean by that? They are by the book 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any leniency. If that's not how you are, that's not a good fit. When you go in for a consultation with a therapist, you are interviewing them just as well as they're interviewing you. You are not to, now granted, they don't have to tell you all their business. That's not what you're looking for. You're looking for connection of understanding. You're looking for the ability to have the same energy of understanding, to be able to say, okay, I can listen to this person because they understand me, be it that they come from the same culture or they've been exposed to your culture and understand the culture, or that y'all talk the same language. I mean, these days, therapists have changed how they operate. You have a lot of therapists now. I'm not going to use profanity with you, but I'm not going to tell you you can't use profanity. If that's how you talk, that's how you talk, long as it's in a respectful manner. But you literally have therapists, right? But you got therapists that will literally
like
have profanity in the way that they talking to you, and it's not that they're being derogatory or negative, but that's how they talk. And they say, oh, you talk like that? Yeah, I'm gonna say a couple of little S bombs and all these other things in the same capacity as you, and if that's what you like, that's what you should get. But you need to find somebody that matches you, that you can
You're
trust.
not stuck if you start off with one that doesn't match you. That don't mean give up and be like, oh, therapy isn't for me. You keep finding and looking for the one that's that matches you until you find a perfect fit.
Right, because guess what? It's a relationship. So the same way you go find your perfect one in a relationship, you do the same thing when you're looking for your therapist. It's a dating experience, and you should do exactly that. You just shouldn't pick because they name is this and they picture on their profile photo of the app or whatever wherever you find them looks amazing. Like, oh, she looks pretty. Oh, she looks nice, or he looks like he know what he's talking about, or no, get in there and really see, because you want to have results. You don't want to spend your money and not have no results. I tell people, if you in therapy for a long time and you don't have a lot of main issues and you still working on that one issue for 2 years, we got a problem.
The problem. Switch, run, exit.
Stage left, fast, fast, because it doesn't mean that, oh man, my problem should be fixed in 30 minutes. No, but there should be progression, that you're not still stuck working on the same thing for the same area. We shouldn't be 2 years in and you still don't know how to communicate. You don't know how to be assertive. You haven't learned, no, you have to be able to.
The same exact problem, but it better be a different communication problem, but not the same exact communication problem. Yeah.
Exactly. You got to have some form of growth, or it's not working. You have created yourself a buddy. Y'all chit-chatting like your homegirl or your homeboy down the street, and they not helping you. The therapist ain't helping you either if you haven't had any progress on the problems you presented up front.
Over a extended amount of time. And that's what they do these days, like therapies, they call it short-term therapy, which means sometimes some issues should be like managed at some capacity within 3 to 5 sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you're doing EAP, because you don't get that many sessions, you're going to transfer to somebody that is more of a permanent therapist. A lot of EAP is really for short-term solutions or immediate, attention to a severe need, so that you can kind of like, I don't want to say put the Band-Aid on it, but that's what you're really doing. It's like, oh, let me stop this from bleeding real quick. And then I'm going to transfer you to the specialist. That's the way I like to look at what EAP really does for you. And she gave you what the acronym meant.
Employee
So don't go.
Assistance Program. And a lot of times, you know what, you go in the break room tomorrow, or well, I don't know what time this will be, what we talking right now. But when you go back to work, go to the break room. It's going to be probably a poster somewhere that's talking about an EAP, but people think that it doesn't relate to them. They like, oh, that's not for me. No, I don't have that. I don't qualify. Yeah, you qualify. It's for you.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be nothing major. You trying to figure out how to handle something within your marriage. Go. You can have an EAP session. You don't want to talk about it with your friends. You don't want nobody in your business, but you need to really figure out how to work something out.
Mm-hmm.
EAP.
Mm-hmm.
EAP. So those are things that actually help you from not becoming functionally depressed. Give you something that like, oh, how do I not reach that status of functional depression with hidden struggles? Live out loud. If you don't get nothing else from this episode, live out loud. Your life is yours, and it should not have anything that you're ashamed about. If you are ashamed of you, you need to seek someone like Virginia and myself, because you should be able to live out loud without any restriction.
Mm-hmm. And even if sometimes living out loud, but you just want a little, I call it a tune up every now and then. People are like, okay, well then, what we going to do next after I'm finished with my sessions or I feel better? I'm like, most people, they come once a month for a tune up. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes, like, I started not to come today because I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. I ain't have anything to talk about, but I came anyway. And then before you know it, we have evolved into a whole conversation about something.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And when you go and seek a services, do the homework. They give you homework. Do it. Do it.
It's not busy work. It's really something that's going to bring you to your next level, your next breakthrough, because you can only do so much within that 45, 55 minutes. But when you get home, then it's like putting things into practice and really doing some deeper dive, because then when you leave the office, you in your stuff. So then you do the exercises while you're in it, and then you bring it back to the therapist.
Absolutely. So again, don't be afraid to seek therapy. By all means, do it just to get understanding. You may find that you love it. Find that you love it. And then you can live out loud. And when I say live out loud, I mean unapologetically you. It's the ultimate, right? We talk about self-love over here. We talk about embracing yourself, being self-aware, having self-forgiveness, setting healthy boundaries, and all of those good things. If you are dealing with a functional depressed state, those things aren't happening. You're just existing, and we want you to live.
Mm-hmm.
So before we end, tell the people a little bit, give them 3, if you would say, you know what, these are my 3 top advice for individuals dealing with functional depression. You may know you're dealing with it. You may think you're dealing with it. You just may be like, I don't know, I'm just a little sad more often than I would like to be. Mm-hmm. What are the tips or advice that you can give them?
Well, first of all, before you can do anything, you have to love yourself. And it's not being selfish. It's just saying, hey, I have to take care of me because I have all of these responsibilities, kids, work, family, whatever it is you may have. And if I'm not put together well, there's nothing I can do for anyone else. So that's number 1, love yourself. And in loving yourself, number 2, like you said, live out loud, enjoy life, do things that you love. Because, when you're functioning, most of the time it's in situations that's tense, like work or family or whatever. Those are tense situations, right? We love it, but it's still tense. But what you're doing on the flip side, what is that unwinding part? What are the things that you enjoy, the things that you love, so you can offset the tense? So I tell people, like, you have stressors, but you need de-stressors, because you can't get rid of stress. You have to work. You have to be with family. You have to work on your goals, go to school, whatever those things are. You have to do that if you want a successful life. But on the other side, what we lack at is that we're not doing the things to de-stress, to offset the stressor. So we stress heavy. I tell people, you stress heavy. You need some de-stressors to offset those stressors. And then number 3 is to reflect, like know yourself. Love yourself, know yourself, enjoy yourself. Hey, look at that.
I like that. You gotta write that down.
Yourself, love yourself, enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Write that down.
Yeah,
I heard it.
Let me chronicle that. Yeah. A new little slogan.
All right. Now tell the people where they can find you if they would like to get in touch, be it your social medias or your direct connect.
So I am on all social medias at Virginia Dale Manning. And then I have a YouTube. Probably can find me at Virginia Dale Manning. Website, www.ginmanconsulting.com. And you can opt in for newsletter on my website.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Virginia. This was an amazing conversation. You guys know it's Mental Health Awareness Month. So in mental health awareness, that means what? Go check out your mental. I don't care if you have 1 session or 50. You want to make sure that you are mentally sound, vibrant, just having thoughts that are amazing. And if you question it, seek a therapist. It's okay. Do an EAP check. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you must always, always, always love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus. If you want coaching from me, hit me up at coaching@IamTammyNicole.com. It's been a pleasure. Catch you next Tuesday.
That's a wrap on another episode of Loving Me Before I Love You. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a second to show your support by subscribing and leaving a positive rating and review on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Stay connected with Tammy. Make sure you're following her on Instagram and TikTok at Coach Tammy Nicole. If you like to work with Tammy or have any questions you'd like her to answer, please head over to www.IamTammyNicole.com. Until next time, always remember to love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus.